Sprenger votes aye. Senate Bill 628, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the resolution.
HCR 21, expressing support for citizens of Compact of Free Association Nations residing in the United States.
Question now arises upon third reading and final adoption of HCR 21. Representative Sprenger.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, any of us that have done this job any amount of time have learned that one of the great benefits of this job is the people we get to meet and the things that we learn about different people. And I've got to tell you, that is what brings me today to this floor with this resolution with the most excitement. I've learned a lot, and I needed to learn a lot. So House Concurrent Resolution 21 has a bit of an odd path to get here. The chair of the Linn County Democratic Party, let me remind you I'm a Republican, contacted me and said, Sherrie, we need to work on this. So we sat down, we started talking about it. And it brings new meaning to bipartisan effort for sure, because it's the right thing to do. So let me tell you a little bit about the folks that live in the Marshall Islands. That is under the control, in many ways, of the United States government. So during the time of 1946 and 58, the United States Atomic Energy Commission established the Pacific Proving Grounds in the Marshall Islands. There were 67 atmospheric nuclear weapons that were tested during that time. These nuclear tests were conducted on a number of islands that were inhabited and even on some that had not been evacuated. And if you'll remember, I think it was probably 2 years ago, I carried a resolution on this floor acknowledging the atomic veterans and what they had gone through guarding things, guarding bunkers, guarding warehouses, not knowing what they were doing, and that they were party to some of these atomic tests, and they would put goggles on, put their hands in front of their eyes to shield them and see the bones in their hands. We did this in the Marshall Islands. It was part of the Proving Grounds. There are three groups of islands: the Republic of Palau, the Republic of the Marshall Islands, and the Federated States of Micronesia. They're all known as the Compact of Free Association Islands, COFA. And by the way, they're in the building today and would welcome anybody, I believe it is in room 350, to visit them. The COFA Islands, the citizens in the COFA Islands, very small population, but this frankly blew my mind. There is a higher percentage per capita of Marshall Island folks, of COFA citizens, that joined the United States military than U.S. citizens, per capita. These folks are committed to the United States, and I would frankly say we have an extreme responsibility to these folks. So when I first started working on this, and Lloyd came to me and said, we need to work on this, I said, I've done some work with the atomic vets. You need to go to them and see how they feel about this. They were there. They were there. They know. They experienced the same things. And this is one of those jewels that come out of a bill that we would never anticipate. So several of the gentlemen I worked with on the Atomic Vets Resolution showed up at one of the COFA meetings up by Portland, and it was an instant, great relationship, because we have folks that were there because they lived there and it was their home that we used, and we had folks that maybe didn't know why they were there but serving their country with pride there. And there was a newfound relationship that occurred to the point that the Atomic Vets came into committee and testified to this. They're champions of this. They love this resolution. So one more thing that I'd like you to know is one of the largest community of Micronesian, of Marshallese folks are right here in Salem, about 3,000. And I'm going to make an introduction here in a little bit, but there's a gentleman that has not been back to the Marshall Islands for many, many years, and he says there's always a place in your heart for home, but he loves it here and he stays here by choice. So, colleagues, I encourage an aye vote. I encourage you to learn a bit, like I've learned a lot on this issue, and encourage an aye vote on HCR 21.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion? Representative Clem.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To the resolution.
To the resolution.
Madam Speaker, I just wanted to talk for 1 second. A lot of the Marshall Island folks live in my district in Salem. There's some of them right there. And we've been working together the last couple sessions on different pieces of legislation. One was last session, some of you may recall, where we were able to get them the privileges of anybody else who's here in the United States legally, which is a driver's license on a 8-year cycle. They were in just an awkward position where, because the statute didn't reference the COFA nations, they were having to go in every single year and renew their driver's license and pay the fee every single time, and we were able to get that addressed. This session, we've got a bill that's now down in Ways and Means to try and look at the gaps for these folks who, again, are here completely legally in every way, shape, or form, but often they are not eligible for some of the benefits that they pay taxes towards, like federal Medicaid. And so we are trying to figure out either A, how to convince the federal government to realize that if people are paying federal income taxes and are residents of the state of Oregon and legally in the United States, that they probably ought to be able to access the benefits they're paying taxes towards. And if not convince the federal government, then see if the state of Oregon, as some other states have done, can step up to fill the gap. So beyond this resolution honoring them, there is another piece of legislation that hopefully we can get some assistance with down in Ways and Means to figure out how to best help particularly those who aren't finding full luck on the exchange be able to get access to health care coverage, especially given to the fact that they're here largely because we made their homeland a difficult place to inhabit. So with that, I would support the resolution greatly and ask you to do the same.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Sprenger, would you like to close?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I got a couple new friends over in the side aisle I'd like to point out to you. Rebo Jerome from the Marshall Islands. He came here in 1996. He has made Salem his home ever since that time. And also there's Joe Enlet. He's a pastor. He's from the Chuuk Island in the Marshall Islands. He is president of CAN, which is the COFA Alliance of National Network. Folks, I'm going to read just one statement in this resolution, which is, I think, the most profound statement in the resolution. Be it resolved that we express our deepest appreciation for their extraordinary commitment to the service and defense of our nation. I encourage an aye vote.
Thank you, Representative. Those of the opinion the resolution should be adopted will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Clerk will open the voting system. Representative Fagan, how do you vote? Fagan votes aye. Representative, thank you for bringing this resolution forward. To all the citizens of the Compact of Free Association Nations that are with us today, thank you so much for being here. We are proud to do what little we can to recognize your service and your commitment to our country, and we really appreciate you being here today, and especially Rebo and Joe, new friends. Good to see you. On behalf of the Oregon House, HCR 21, having received a constitutional majority, is declared adopted.